Lovely. Well, good evening and welcome to SecKC. This is Ben Webb, not on camera because we're just that cool. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. We are having, some would call reruns, but a look back at DefCon 28, which was canceled or not, depending on which way you want to look at it. For the initiated, you will have heard these things before, but for the uninitiated, prepare to be initiated. It is time for SecKC 101.
That's right. It is SecKC 101, and I am Taco Destroyer here to present it to you. This is my first time, so if I mess up, please do not ban me. And I'm already messing up. There we go. All right, things you should know about SecKC. The biggest and bestest monthly InfoSec event in the world. And it's held the second Tuesday of each month. Used to be at the Kanza, but it's not there anymore. So we are here in Discord and YouTube Live. The other things you should know. Meetings are unrated, and you have been warned. There are a lot of F-bombs that are dropped. I'm not going to be the one that starts it, but I will let Sis Aaron do that when he presents the news. As far as SecKC Code of Conduct, if you need to hit up a member, you're being harassed, bullied, bothered, please look for a member in the COC group. On the right-hand side of your Discord, there should be about 7 of them, and send them a PM. Some rules: destroy no data, maintain no persistence, and above all, do no harm. However, shenanigans are encouraged. Everyone belongs to SecKC. Assume all humans are technical. Meet someone new. Challenge ideas and not people. We're in Discord. It's a whole different land, but if you come hang out in the Beats channel, Beats Live channel, you'll see all of us on camera. If you want to hit us up, talk to us, just reach out to somebody and meet somebody new. If you want to get involved, be the change you want to see at SecKC, visit us at sekkc.org/connect. And follow us on Twitter, sec_KC on Twitter, and hashtag us on all of the things with hashtag SecKC. Here's your agenda for this evening. Right after I'm done spilling all of this, you're going to hear from Sis Aaron with the news at 7:10, 7:25, winning the Trace Lab CTF with Ginsburg 5150. From 7:45 to 7:55, we're going to do a Q&A in Discord for Ginsburg. At 8 to 8:20, I'm going to do a recap of the process for submitting music to DefCon. Bonus, a talk about the process of making the annual DefCon mix. And new this year, the video. And if you haven't seen the video, it's incredible. Hopefully we can get another copy of that going later. From 8:20 to 8:30, there will be another Q&A to go over that in Discord. From 8:35 to 8:45. So what is the story with this new platform? Jurist is going to tell us why we are over on Discord, where we all ended up at, and why we're moving away from Slack. From 8:45 to 9:15, we're going to talk about DC28, the Goon View. 2 of our DC goons will reflect on hashtag Goon Life, Juris and Asmodean. And from 9:15 to 9:30, we'll do another Q&A to talk about that from DC28. I'm done. I'm not doing anymore. I'm done.
Well, I think that makes it Aaron's turn, does it not?
Shit, it's 7:04.
Whatever, you can do some extra content.
And how are y'all doing today? I hope everyone's doing all right. I think I'm doing fine. Let's see if I can figure out how to do this on this platform. Bum, bum, bum. This is going to be a real fun one for me, everyone, because guess what? I don't have my notes for this because I can't figure out how to do that with Discord because I'm a lame ass. But that should make it great for y'all.
We are truly excited.
Okay, I'm broadcasting. Think we see that? I hope we see that.
I see you, man.
Awesome. I'm still going to stall for time. I'm a stickler for time. I ain't doing this early shit.
Do it. It's all my fault.
No, not in the slightest.
When it comes down to it, Taco Destroyer is just that good. He covered 10 minutes in 4. I think
You're hella
honestly,
efficient, bro.
it's a round of applause right there. Virtual clapping.
I don't know how.
Perfect.
Discord.
That's where you are.
23.
Oh, but you have a special button.
Yeah. Have that person touch your special button.
This is an outhouse.
Ah, but this is a meeting. It's unrated. Ah.
Good point.
And we are past the point where we said it was unrated, so anybody who is uncomfortable with that should have left already.
True. It's 100% true. It's not that we want to exclude anyone. It's just we don't have filters anymore. I'm fucking sorry, man. I mean,
There it is.
He's not.
you're right. You got me. I'm not. Why did I lie to y'all? I'm so sorry about that.
He's not blushing.
Ah, but do you know if I'm blushing or not? You can't see my pretty face right now.
I mean, your furniture is in a good spot, though.
Don't you know we hacked your webcam?
Oh, man. You got me.
I'm just in the bushes outside your house.
I was gonna say, yeah, his window's better resolution.
Oh, cute. Y'all think I got shrubbery. I'm not that baller. I know I act like it, but I ain't.
Yeah, bushes are some bourgeoisie shit.
That too.
Got time for no bushes? You gotta trim them shits.
Not always.
Hey, hold up. Now wait. They make bushes that you ain't gotta upkeep?
Well, it doesn't matter what you got. It depends on what you
Nice. There it is.
Well, Aaron helps kill the awkwardness. It's my first ever full SecKC meeting.
Instead, he got his Windows resolution. Oh, y'all think I got shrubbery? I'm not a baller. I know I act like it, but I'm...
God damn it, Corey.
What? Hey, how many times do I have to push the video button and touch it?
Some headphones like a civilized motherfucker. I can hear myself talking out of your goddamn speakers.
Fuck you.
I do have to say, this is fucking amazing. Just, you're right off.
You know how disorienting it is to hear your own voice talking at you a minute and a half later? It's terrifying.
Kind of like time travel.
It's just WebEx. That's how it works.
Right now, Cincinnati is doing a great job of promoting 1.60%.
It's true, really? Oh man, those of you that haven't joined us before, you just stand up on stage and you banter and bullshit until people clap at you and then they let you go. Sometimes they give you drinks. It's great. It's lovely. Can't wait for things to go back to doing it, but they won't. That won't happen until it's safe to do so. Damn it. So
Wear your masks.
yeah.
Till then, it's shots for everyone.
This one isn't a drink. I didn't put drinking game slides in since we've got normal length of news tonight. Okay, it's 7:10. Everyone,
It is
shut
now
the fuck
time.
up. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Okay, here we go. Hello. It's 7:10. That means it's time for the news. Okay, so if you have never been here, if you've never seen the news, I'm going to cover things that happened between the last meeting and this one, but I'm going to do it real fast. So you're not actually going to learn anything mostly. You're going to probably just hear me swear a lot.
Faster.
But you can get these links. 15 seconds each. Fuck you. You can get these links after I'm done. I'm going to post them on news links. It's going to be great. It's going to be lovely. You can get them there. I have no notes. Let's see how badly this can go, right? Okay. First and foremost, we've got a report from 40net. I don't have any fucking notes here, so I don't really remember what they said. Let me think about it. RDP is being a thing now. Working from home is bad. The Rona is a thing. Yep, these are all things that I bet that they talk about in that report. There was an RCE bug in Slack. Guess what? That's why we moved to Discord. No, it's actually not. But hey, there was a bug there. So if you haven't patched your Slack client, do that. It's pretty cool. It does require them to share content with you. So it's not super crazy, but it's bad enough. Let's see. We've got problems with voice over LTE. So surprise, surprise, something that was supposed to be cool got implemented really shittily. And it turns out that assholes out there can actually listen to our voice over LTE conversations if they've got like $7,000 of equipment. CISA is telling federal agents, civilian federal agencies, that they got to set up a vulnerability disclosure program, which is pretty cool. I mean, it doesn't actually guarantee that they fucking do anything about it at the end of the day, but it's still pretty cool that they at least have to have one, right? So then I can scream it. I know where to scream into the void. Talos has got an article on attribution. I think that this is a fascinating area because it baffles me how anyone can say, oh yeah, this attack came from so-and-so in a world of VPNs and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think this is very interesting. Maybe you'll think it's interesting too. Go check it out. There was a database with a bunch of personal identifying information on it. And instead of the people that owned it taking it down, it just got fucking meowed. If you don't know what being meowed is, that's apparently some new jackass that's instead of encrypting your data and ransoming it, they're just deleting it. Go team, I guess. Let's see. There was a interesting piece of malware that was out there. I saw a cool blog post from a group. They like masqueraded some kind of log file. Wasn't actually a log file. It split out the log file using a scheduled task. I don't know. It was all sorts of crazy, right? They called it the gift that keeps on giving. XCS set is some piece of malware that is actually the targets are fucking Xcode developers. So it's actually like putting this library in their project so that when it's compiled, it's included in there. They never even know about it. It's crazy stuff. Maybe read about it. There's a plugin called File Manager for WordPress, and it's making WordPress suck ass. There's like, what, 33,000 or 330,000? I don't remember people affected by it. WordPress is fine. WordPress plugins suck. Keep them updated if you happen to run a WordPress website. REvil didn't actually like ransom encrypt anything I can't even remember what this. They make Jack Daniels, all right? REvil is after our fucking whiskey. Stop them. We have to stop them. They didn't encrypt anything, but they did steal a bunch of data, and they might pay a ransom. There's a new update to Kali, so the third update of 2020. I don't remember all the shit that's in it. There's a new shell. They're using ZSH now. There's some additional support for Kali NetHunter, if I'm not mistaken, on a few different devices and all sorts of stuff. Definitely check that out. We've got an interesting blog post here from someone who talks about issues with DMARC and SPF and G Suite. You could have circumvented that for any G Suite customer, and Google wouldn't fucking fix it until he ended up posting about it to the world. So, hey, the power is in our hands. Just tell people what's wrong with the world. We've got an expose here on Chromium, that a thing that was introduced in 2010 is actually hammering the root DNS servers, and now it's getting a little bit more attention than it did, back in like 2012, 2013. Let's see, Malwarebytes has released a report on work from home security concerns. So again, the Rona, it's very real. A lot of us are working from home. That totally changes the security landscape for defenders. I bet you red teamers are real fucking happy right now, aren't you? Fuck you. Fuck you. There we go. Community AMIs. So this is a post on some malicious AMIs that were uploaded to AWS. Again, you kind of got to know what you're grabbing whenever you grab a community AMI, right? Or you could be grabbing something that's booby-trapped by some asshole that uploaded it to Amazon. So not only is it booby-trapped, maybe you paid for it, right? University of Utah was a dickhead, and they paid like a $475K ransom or something like that to some group of dickbags. They did it so that they could recover their data and so that they wouldn't release their data, because people who ransomware other things, they fucking can be trusted, right? Let's see. The Common Weakness Enumeration Group released the top 25 issues updated for 2020. Go check that out, especially if you're a web application developer. If you don't know what the CWE top 25 is, it's a list of things that make your app not suck ass. Bridgeify is an app that came out to support protesters being able to communicate in close proximity. But as it turns out, it is a fucking dumpster fire. And there is this great article showing how many ways that it fails. Again, it's all good and everything. Mitra, so the people that have the attack framework, they've now introduced Shield, which is essentially the attack method. Well, no, it's defender shit. All right, it's defender shit. So if you're a defender, go peep Shield. All right, I'm gonna be peeping it later. Let's see. Who is after GDPR? So if you don't remember, who is actually used to be kind of decent at helping you figure out who owned a fucking domain or an IP address. Post GDPR, that is not the fucking case anymore. They said, oh yeah, no, don't worry about it. We're going to take care of it. Yeah, no, they fucking didn't. Let's see. Brian Krebs has got an awesome article here from quote unquote ID theft kingpin. It's a 2-part series. I don't know, kind of interesting stuff. Definitely check it out. I thought it was kind of enlightening to see what that person thought of this whole thing, and they tell you why they shouldn't do it. Let's see. The feds nabbed some Russian for trying to bribe their way into the network. They figured, you know what? Fuck it. We're not going to be able to hack it at Tesla. Let's just take the easy way out. Let's just slip them a cool million, get that bitch in there ourselves. Yeah, but the guy that he tried to bribe snitched on him. We've got a story about attackers impersonating journalists on WhatsApp. So again, journalists often use WhatsApp in a legitimate sense, but do you always know who you're communicating with? Hopefully you do. Definitely check what their posted, credentials are and all that jazz. Don't fall for impersonation scams. Hey, wouldn't you know it, printers still fucking suck, and people don't secure them very well. So now we've got a new, quote unquote, group of researchers who released some set of sample data on how vulnerable a collection of printers that they found is. We've did this a long time ago. Let's see, TFNSW. I don't even remember what the fuck that stands for, but it has to do with people in Australia. They leaked, 53,000, I want to say, driver's licenses. This one was on an open Amazon S3 bucket, so that's new. Empire Market closed. So if you're not familiar with that, that is a market that people buy stuff on, and it kind of closed without much pomp and circumstance. People suspect that this is an exit scam, so sucks to be those people. The new norm nowadays is 1-year TLS certs, or to be specific, it is 398 day. I thought some browsers are actually lower than that, but anyway, goodbye 2-year TLS certs, 3-year TLS certs. If you're not automating that shit now, start fucking doing it. The New Zealand Stock Exchange for the past week and a half or something like that has been getting hammered with denial of service attacks. There being a ransom denial of service. I'm sure that's a thing, and there's a cool acronym for it, but they haven't given in yet. CenturyLink was out and caused a large swath of the internet to go out earlier. Let's see, a week and a half ago or something like that. Yet more BGP fuckery. Again, we kind of see this every few months or so. You can see that there were a lot of changes that started being made at 10:15 GMT. We've got a cool blog post from an individual who reverse engineered the Marvel Avengers beta game to get a little bit more information on the networking that is required there. He didn't like to play it online when he was playing in single player mode. He or she, I should say. I'm being an asshole. Let's see. Schleyer samples have now been found that have been notarized by Apple. So notarization is kind of analogous to code signing, but not quite. Long story short, Apple needs to work on the fucking process for notarizing things that are sent to them. We've got a blog post from, I don't remember what fucking group it is, but they're talking about the most popular brands for typo squatting. So, we've got factbook.com. What a fucking awesome domain that would be. But yeah, you can see the top 25 brands for typo squatting. Maybe make sure you're defending against that. Microsoft is launching a deepfake detection tool and ahead of the election year. I don't know how effective it's going to be exactly, but by the same token, it's still really cool to see that effort put out there. Maybe it will be effective. Who knows, right? Let's see. We've got an alternative to the Ponagachi. So maybe you've seen that cute little motherfucker on the Raspberry Pi Zero. Well, now you can also get yourself a hash monster. This baby got buttons, y'all. It's an alternative build. I think it's $55 to build one of these. So relatively close to the same cost. A bunch of European ISPs have been hit with denial of service attacks over the past 2 or 3 days or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. They have also been extorted or attempted to be extorted, and the attacks just kind of continue, but they do die off pretty quickly. Warner Music was breached with a mage cart type thing, so they had a card skimmer implanted on one of their e-commerce sites for about a month or so. So if you buy shit from Warner Music, maybe look into that. Use PayPal instead, something that isn't custom. Trevor Spray is a tool that allows you to test the passwords of a O365 tenant. Again, only use this on a tenant that you own, but it's pretty cool that it does all of this only requiring, it uses SSH host to spread the traffic out. We've got a blog post here from an individual who ran some SSH honeypots for a while. They didn't find anything groundbreaking or anything like that, but neither do I when I do shit. I just sometimes write about it, and sometimes people want to hear about it. So kind of figured maybe this would be the case with y'all as well. Dharma has now been spotted as being offered as a ransomware as a service offering. So now script kiddies from all over the world can start compromising people's data. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that nice? Fuck, this is why we can't have nice things, people. We had an individual who did a review of the CTF for the Red Team Village over on during DC 28. Check that out if you want to get some knowledge on the insights and mindset of a hacker. And I guess that's the news.
Outstanding. And you hit it at 10 minutes exactly. Nice work, of course. So I believe we're going to take about a 5-minute break, get everybody a chance to go to the bathroom, refresh their beverage, whatever is appropriate for you. And we will hit right back up here at 7:25 for the details of winning. And yes, that is winning the Trace Labs CTF. So see you in 5.
Is the link to the Discord in any of the channels?
SecOps?
Thanks.
Yeah, it's going to be pinned.
back. Hope everybody made it. Hope you got your drink and your food and whatever else you needed. It is time now to talk CTF with Mr. Ginsburg. Take it away, sir.
I'm going to try. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yep.
All right. I guess I got to do this then, huh? All right, let's go live. I have no clue what all these buttons do, so I'm just going to start pressing stuff. Can you guys see it?
Indeed.
Let's do this. Can you see just the thing now? I can't see the YouTube stream. I'm sorry.
No, this is what I ran into and why I didn't have notes. It seems that when you full screen the presentation, shit goes wonky. But if you... So I know with Keynote, I was able to play in window or do slideshow in window. If you try that, I'm assuming that worked.
Let's see. And Keynote's on Mac though, right? This is a Windows box.
Don't judge me. I'm just saying I could do it on my machine.
Always the one-upper. Let's see.
Slide 5 looks fun.
Y'all want some music?
Oh yeah, slide 5 is the best. No,
Right
I don't
now,
need music. I wonder if I can.
Yesterday was my favorite place, but today.
Hey.
Hey.
I don't see nobody. All alone, no familiar face.
There you go. Turn it down.
Nice. Let's see if we'll do this. Is that any better?
100%.
Okay, yeah, I had to go to the window thing. Okay. All right. I think I'm ready. I can almost do this now. I can't do it with the music though.
Dance for us.
I'm already dancing. You just can't see me. I do like this song.
Somebody kill Groovy.
Right? Is that a bot?
Yep.
That's so fucking sick.
I kill Groovy. Let's see.
You guys want Groovy down a little bit more?
Well, he's ready to go.
Yeah, off is good. Or better. Nice. Clean cuts. Awesome. Okay. Thank you, SecKC, for asking me to go through and do this stuff for the OSINT CTF Black Badge thing. We'll get into kind of what that is, whatever. But yeah, I'm glad to be here, and I hope somebody learned something. Yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so my name is Michael James, regardless of what it says on Twitter, but it is Ginsburg 5150. So who am I? The Black Badge OSINT CTF winner from August. Actually, from July, I'm also the silver, the second place winner from that stuff. I've been kind of heading a lot of the Trace Lab stuff up for the last couple of years, but it's a lot of fun stuff for me. So it's OSINT all the time. I'm a founding member of the OSINT Curious Group, so we focus on, as a nonprofit, the teaching, training, and methodology for OSINT, techniques and what not to do in regards to stalking, stuff like that. If you're new to OSINT, osint.team, that is the URL, is a fantastic place to go through and talk with other like-minded people. There's some resource hounds out there that just pull in a lot of stuff. It's kind of cool. And then just want to give a little props to SecKC, where we used to be, for the old Kansas Hall stuff, whatever. All that stuff is great, and obviously you can see I'm very focused on OSINT, but SANS 47, the OSINT class just came out. I just took the certificate, so I am a certified human, I guess. Something.
The voice channel?
Voice channel? Which channel? There's a channel. Which channel?
I don't know. What channel?
Not this one, bro. Not this one.
You just click. I was in.
Dog, they're good. They're good, dog. Okay. So a little bit about open source intelligence, or OSINT, before we get started with the, kind of the TraceLab stuff. There may be a little bit of background. Maybe somebody doesn't know what OSINT is. Maybe someone's interested to learn. So open source intelligence, that's OSINT. What is it? It's publicly available information, either purchased or found on the internet, that we take and we kind of refract through a lens of analysis. So some sort of methodology to go through and try to find an answer to give a client, external, internal customer, whoever it is, some form of actionable intelligence. So there is an information gathering portion, but if you don't actually use the analysis to go through and find out why it's valuable, then it's not OSINT. Why should we care? It's not why should you care about this slide, because you probably don't. Why you should care is the question that you need to ask when you have information and you're presenting this as an OSINT finding or actionable intelligence. Why should you care about this piece of data? Why is this artifact here, whatever, something that furthers the investigation? So we like to ask the questions in OSINT about why things matter and why we should care. Can you use it in your day-to-day use? Obviously. Chris Adnaghi, one of the first times I ever sat down with him, the socialengineering.org guy, said that you should always be looking for your next job, and you should always be OSINTing those companies to go through and see who they are, what they are, and how they roll. So it's something, fancy Googling, call it whatever the hell you want. I've been using OSINT 2000, and I didn't even know that it was OSINT then. I used to do a lot of skip tracing. I did repo. I did financial services with fraud and risk mitigation. So I was backfilling a lot of that information that we had to verify with open source intelligence techniques. And if you don't use OSINT, does baby Jesus cry? And the answer is yes, most of it. One thing I will say on this slide over here, whatever, this is Michael Bazel's Intel Techniques workflow. These are very good as a starting point. A lot of these are outdated information. It's one of the problems with OSINT is it moves very quickly. People change code on us. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram all change how we go through and search that stuff. So don't take it at face value that this stuff is relative or relevant as well. So TraceLabs. TraceLabs is an organization that crowdsources open source intelligence for OSINT for good. That's their mission, is to help law enforcement officers and private investigators and families, people who have missing people out there, to get some sort of closure one way or another. It's not always something you're going to walk away with a smile from. It is kind of grueling. It's anywhere from 4 to 8 hours. Most times it's like a 6-hour kind of endeavor. But it is something where we turn a lot of evidence and a lot of discovery over to law enforcement and private investigators and things like that to go through and help with missing people. It is important that we do that because regardless of your thought process or your feelings towards the police, the missing persons section is usually well depleted. So crowdsourcing this type of stuff and allowing us to go through and test new techniques, methodologies, and tips helps not only go through and strengthen your OSINT fundamentals, but also helps to really help close maybe a chapter of somebody's life in regards to that, good or bad. We've seen human trafficking, we've seen suicides, we've seen people who were abducted for sex slaves, people that just ran away and wanted to join MS-13 gangs and go through and do that stuff. There's multiple runaways, so it's not all fun stuff, but it is rewarding. And anyone can be a part of it. It is you really need to walk into it with a level of understanding of what you're going to do. You're not going to beat it every single time, and that's not the point of it. It is really to go through and get back to the communities that are looking for these people. There is a barrier of entry of about $20. It's usually a ticketed event. You can play as a solo or you can play as a team up to 4. And that's what we did the last couple times, was the Password Inspection Agency was the team. It was myself, Joe Gray, Alif Dennis, and TJ Moore. And so that they were fantastic to work with, and we had a ton of fun. Oh noes. So how can we help OSINT for good? So Bill's gone missing. So we want to go through and set up, I could talk all day about what we actually do, but I wanted to go through and try to show people how we go through the process of setting up an investigation and how we kind of go through and try to time some of this stuff. So if you do want to participate in TraceLabs, you may have maybe a little bit better of a start to go through and get off with. So one of the first things that I always do is set up some form of record. I usually prefer like a visual effect, so some sort of graph. I used to do it in Excel, and that was fine. But you can miss things, you can duplicate stuff. When you're looking for specific answers like family life or advanced information or whatever, maybe you skip over something. So it's nice to go through and set up in a visual format. Plus, some of these tools help automate some of the process about searching for people, and we'll get into that. So you're going to start your search. Spiderfoot HX, which is what I would recommend if you're going to go with Spiderfoot. The open source version is amazing. If you've not played with the GitHub Spiderfoot version, it is a command line tool that pops a GUI out on like port 5000 or something like that, localhost, whatever you can pick it. WebReacher's Yoga, WebReacher or Michael Hoffman, amazing OSINT instructor for the Sans 47 guy. He's also the president of OSINT Curious. Awesome guy. He's done a lot of stuff in the space to visualize, not only with yoga, but also with mind map, which is another way to go through and kind of look at your investigation. And then OSINT Combine, who's a gentleman out of Australia, just came out a little while ago, maybe like 4 or 5 months, maybe longer than that, with a data visualization tool, which is kind of my default now. So it's a lot of fun, and it does some neat stuff. So when you're starting out, you're going to have anywhere between 6 and 8, call them targets or subjects, suspects, whatever you want to go through and call them to make you sleep better at night. A lot of them will be minors. It is unfortunate, but it's the truth. Those are the more difficult ones, tactically and strategically, because it's difficult to go through and track a minor online. I know that sounds like a creepy thing to say, and I'm recording, but these people are still missing. We're still trying to go through and do OSINT for good. So where public data sets don't go through and capture minors' information, you need to pivot out and get a lot more information about the family, the location, who the caregiver is, all that. So all that being said, you need a way to go through and track the individual targets and the information that you're getting there. And again, I'm not being mean about this. It helps to distance yourself mentally from real humans and seeing the last things that they may have ever posted versus calling them target subjects. So no offense meant, just that's what it is. So when you get to Spiderfoot HX, this is a paid tool that you can get, but everyone can get a hobbyist account, and you're allowed 3 scans a month. But you're also allowed to go through and use a tool that's embedded in there called Investigate, and this allows you to add manual searches. You can see up at the top there, we're investigating Michael Knight and Jack Sparrow there. And then you can right-click and get into the Investigate. You can also go through and highlight nodes. If you get a lot of searches come back, there may be child searches in there as well, not minors, but actual, like, you have the main search, and then you have a child search that's comparative on that. You can highlight those and you can get rid of those. So it helps with filtering. You will get a lot of false positives that come back on this. If you run anything on the dark web or deep net stuff, it's just going to happen. So you need to vet your stuff very carefully. This is more people talking. Okay. This is Yoga. This is your OSINT graphical analyzer. This again is from WebReacher or Micah Hoffman. Fantastic. The beauty of this one is it's editable, but you can also go through and see what other points would allow you to go through and pivot off. So if you get an email address, you might be able to go through and get something else like a social media account or a cert from an HTTP server or something else, a phone number. There's a number of different ways to go through and move through the information or pivot from specific instances to email, then username and social media and so on and so forth. And we'll get a little bit into that today. The last one, like I said, that I've been really playing with a lot is OSINT Combine's data visualization tool. The nice thing about this is that you can take everything, throw it into a CSV file. Nope, CSV. The other one's a drugstore. You can take it to CSV file and you can upload it directly. So when you first start what you're doing with Trace Labs, they'll give you the dashboard. You can scrape the names, maybe the ages, maybe the last known locations, anything else, whoever on there, so it connects in maybe like a node. You can then right-click on those, and you can do what used to be called Google custom search engines. They're now called programmable search engines in Google. And then then, OSINT Combine in the group over there has gone and done the legwork to find the Google Dork or whatever you need to go through and to highlight a lot of the stuff here. So in the case that Bill's gone missing, we need to go through and find out who he is. And for expedition of time, I went through and put his name and then his handle in there. And just a quick media search, a quick Google search obviously comes up with, the media.defcon.org stuff with his name and his handle in there. So we're going to pivot off of that. And you can see when you go to Bill's name and you right click, you can start the Google searches, the index for faces and stuff like that. But it also gives you a myriad of other things: cryptocurrency, documentation, social media, anything else that pops up there. At the very bottom, there is that "What's my name?" username search. Some people may, in doing OSINT, may be familiar with like name check.
Growing pains, everyone. That's what you're hearing right now. Growing pains. Something has happened. Don't worry. Your boy Scantlin is here to take care of you. We're all going to make it through this.
Make it through with music if you're here.
I could unmute GroovyBot, in fact.
What happened?
Oh, it's actually not muted anymore. Well, here, I'll unmute Bill. Oh, he moved to Beats Live. Shit.
So we'll give it a minute and see if Ginsburg gets back. And if not, we'll figure something else out. Maybe we'll have more news.
No.
I don't know. I feel like you've had a chance to review your notes. There were probably a couple of slides in there we could use some details.
Well, Gins does think he's still here.
He definitely.
I can see his screen, but I can't hear you, Gins. If you can hear me.
You cannot hear me.
There we go.
We're back.
What the fuck just happened? I literally. Okay. Well, where did you guys leave off with me?
Well, just right before the part where we couldn't hear anymore.
Oh, that makes sense.
We had extra Bill. Yep, back from there. There we go. There we are. Yep.
Okay, can you guys still hear me?
Indeed.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, not your fault at all. I'm blaming Discord and the internet.
Yeah, let's do that. That makes more sense. Okay, well, let's move on then, because I'm already halfway through, sort of, or whatever. Okay. So again, data visualization, that's what we're doing, and we're just doing a basic Google search to go through and try to do some verification. We have Bill's photos, so we can bounce that up. We also have his name, so we're pivoting to the username stuff. And this is more of just the Google search stuff, but these two specific things I want to show is because there's two different avatars. People who know that he used to use sparkly hands thing a lot, and that was a lot of fun, but that's very unique. So there's a lot of reverse image search that we can do to go through and see if there's more things we can enumerate on. I've not done a whole lot of that here, but it's something that we do during the CTF as well. And you'll find older information, which is nice. Do I still have everyone's attention?
So far, so good.
Yay!
100%.
Wait, what?
Yeah. That's what I figured, actually. Okay. All right. So again, talking a little bit about What's My Name, which again is an app that was kind of created by the authors up there. WebReacher, who is the main person on there, and it's very comparable to something like Sherlock as a command line tool. But this is a little bit easier for people who are not technical to get through. So you can put the username in there. You can see through the process. We found 44 instances where that username has been used, and so it's just like name checker. You can kind of click through all. This also is that you can go through and export to CSV, which again, data visualization stuff. So it is kind of on that stuff, and it's nice if you have teammates because you can do the harvesting for this stuff, kick it over to somebody else, and they can do the next. So just aware of the automation. When you only have 6 hours or 4 hours, it's something that happens. Okay, so again, we're getting into the username now. So you have a subject, you found their name, you found their username data. So these are all things that you can go through and get points for in this ETF, but these are more important things that actually have facets of the person's life involved. And so this may give somebody who is in law enforcement or private investigation a lead to go through and follow up on. And so you can see that there will be some false positives when we come up with this stuff, and you need to be aware of vetting your sources. So we see that that Bill is very heavy on Twitter. He's a hacker. He's got a GitHub thing. He's on Keybase. He's totes secure. I don't know why with that Corey guy, but he's there. He's also into music. But then from the ebay.co.uk South Dakota vanity plates, that may or may be a false positive. If Bill's on here, he can tell me if that's him or not, but it's okay. The fact that he has Pinterest makes me lose a lot of respect for him. But then you can see other things that are also in here, like the very thing at the bottom is a hacker guy with custom hardware, solder, and Python. That actually used to be like part of his bio on Twitter and stuff. A lot of stuff of that's changed, but when we go back for historical data for OSINT, especially for looking for missing people, this type of stuff is important because you can see where people may have gone down different paths. There may be somebody who was associated with a gang or organized crime, something else like that, and then moves into trying to make something better of their life, and we wouldn't have known that because they delete all the pictures, profiles, all that stuff. So looking back through historical data can actually help. I did want to just post this because this is kind of fun. This also goes through and gives you a little more technical stuff on what you can find versus actually clicking on the link. So this is, we're searching Heaven Sent for the username there. This gives you a homebrew page that people were talking about beer, wine, mead. It shows where his address is, and I think we all kind of know where he lives, but I wanted to, blur it out for as much as possible. But it also says he's a member. It shows when he joined. It shows last seen, the total number of messages, reaction scores, all that stuff. Whatever. So if you actually were to click into this, some of these pages will not allow you to see this data here because it's hidden behind either some paywalls or membership walls, things like that. So there is something to be said for when you're doing this stuff and you're documenting, before you actually click on the link, make sure any metadata that is being provided by Google and not the actual site is taken into account before you go through and click and you got to back through and all that stuff. Whatever. So just be cognizant of what you're clicking on and the verification and how much information you can get by not even getting to the site. And that's an important point as well, just because sometimes some of the sites we go to in OSINT or looking for stuff, they may be kind of sketch, kind of shade. You may want to not have that on your hard drive. Yeah, we recommend VMs to go through and do a lot of this stuff, but there are a lot of people that hack naked, and I'm not going to hate on that at all. This just tells more about Bill as a person. Obviously, he can't spell. He has some other damaging things in his life. I'm just kidding. This is obviously from his talk or whatever for Hack the Police, which is an amazing talk. But it does give us the verification again. So we have Bill and we got Heaven Sent. So, it puts those two pieces together so that we can verify that the username is associated with the person who's done the talk. And I have watched a lot of videos, actually, in the course of these CTFs to go through and find pertinent information in news outlets and things like that are on YouTube and that are preserved. So mothers, fathers, grandmothers, caretaker name, things like that, where we can all be actionable. And that means you can submit that as well for points for all that stuff. But again, more importantly, if someone has not talked to an ex-boyfriend who was on a video with somebody 5 years ago, may be pertinent to go through and look at that information. So it's up to the analyst, but at that point, all information is good information until it's bad, if that makes sense. And this is one of the last things I know that we're talking about in the beer, wine, meat thing. We had Bill back to 2010, so now we even got him back further because he's been on Blogger since 2007. Now, all these blogs are pretty much empty, but it does give us more pivot information to say, who is this person, or if there was more writings, photos, things like that, we could go through and dig in on that stuff. And all that is again, worth contributing as flags for the CTF stuff. So this is the win. This is the good stuff. This is the thing you want to go through and find. And it's not Reddit, because Reddit's whatever. But like when you find something on social media and it says this was posted 7 hours ago, then you know this is an active thing. And we've actually found this several times through social media, either through a friend, a family member, somebody else, whatever, or the person themselves saying, hey, I was really depressed. I kind of fell off. I need to go through and just get off here, but I'm back. I'm okay. I'm healthy, yada, yada, yada. So there is a lot to go through and look for when you're associating, the data points there. You're not just looking for the context. You're looking for, like we do with a lot of other stuff, metadata. We're looking for timestamps. We're looking for epoch time, all that, if we can get it. There is something called the GAIA, which is the Google Analytic ID analysis, something like that. I'm totally screwing that up. But it does allow you to go through and look at the last time a Gmail user was active in regards to an account. So it'll give you an epoch time you can convert to real time, and that could be submitted for law enforcement, things like that. So digging into the developer's dashboard and things like that is something that we've steered into as OSINT enthusiasts and all that. So kind of to wrap up here, because I'm trying to keep it in the 20 minutes. I think I'm over, but Sis Aaron really screwed me up, so there's a couple of things just to mention. The OSINT framework is a fantastic tool. It is a website that you can go through. It's got a mind map kind of mentality to it, where you can click on stuff and it will fold out. It's done by a guy named Justin Nordine, who's a good friend of mine. If you have the ability to look at OSINT every once in a while, but you don't know how maybe to go through and get business records, or you don't know if you can check dating sites, stuff like that, this is a low barrier to entry for this stuff, and it's excellent information. He updates it at least once a year, sometimes more. There's other people who are contributing now as well, so it's a good project. And then, like I said, a lot of the stuff we do for OSINT doesn't always come out in a clean way, and it doesn't always end up in the nicest places. We want to be cognizant of that, because we don't want anybody clicking on stuff or doing anything bad and all that. Especially if it's a shared computer by a university or mother, father, something else like that, boyfriend, husband, wife, whatever. So VMs are nice to have, build up, tear down. This is a version of Kali Linux that is specific for open source intelligence. It doesn't have all the tools I would like, but it is a good getting started type thing. I think it's like 2 or 3 gigs, and then expanded. It's like 6 or 7, something like that. However, so if you have the ability to go through and run this, or if you want to throw this up into AWS instance or Linode or something else like that, I would not recommend DigitalOcean or AWS for the searching stuff, but that's just me. And that is kind of it. I mean, I could talk OSINT all day as long as my microphone worked, but this is what you get for now. So, questions?
Well, what we will do is anyone who has questions and they want answers, retire to the Discord channel voice general. That will be where all the questions get handled, and we will catch back up for the next talk starting up right at 8 o'clock. So lots of time for questions and answers. Please hop on.
Where am I going?
General. The general chat.
You, sir, are already there.
Nice.
Right? We did that just for you.
Hashtag winning.
More Bill. I love that. That's awesome.
It was a lot of fun that you used Bill as your example.
Mr. Ginsburg. You learned my handle before. Of course. I was just sad you couldn't spell it, Bill. It's okay. Should I still be talking?
No, yeah, you are totally fine, because the whole point here is if people have questions or whatever, want to follow up on something.
Network Geek, that's a great question. See, part 2. I don't have a problem doing this as a series or whatever. I know there were some people also that signed up for OSINT training at B-Sides Kansas City, and I know we're not doing that. We still will do the training, so if you're interested, hit me up. We've got a couple people that already still want to go through and do that, but yeah, it's whatever. Yes, you are. Yeah, I feel bad because there are people that signed up, and I can still offer the course even though we're not doing B-sides because of Rona. But you know, we can get together and do some OSINT stuff. That'd be awesome.
Hey, Mr. Ginsburg.
Yo, yo.
Did you happen to come across my handle before it was Heaven Sent?
I did not. I'm sorry. I will look into that and report back. Did you see that page I sent you though?
No, I didn't. Where'd I miss it? Where'd you send it?
I sent it to you direct. I DM'd you. There was a 2013.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was fun. It's always good to find pastes and data breach stuff. I love data breach information. I'm actually giving a talk to law enforcement at the end of this month about data breach information and how they can go through and utilize it during investigations and stuff, and see how they can protect themselves, and what other metadata or what other information you can get out of that to track, I don't know what to say, like EPP, but other persistent threat people. So yeah, I feel like I was getting run off the stage with the music. That was awesome.
No gong show here. Although that might be a good way to do it in the future. I kind of like that thought.
I will say, every time I used to get up and do one-on-one or something, and the mic would bleed or bleed into the speakers and stuff. I think Brian was gonna get a big hook so that he could get me away from the speakers.
The plan was just to get a flare gun.
Yeah, that'd be better.
But Brian's plan might be a little more.
Yeah. I mean, Kansas dead, so we can just do whatever we want there, right? Okay.
I mean, yeah, you know what? I don't see any managers to tell us to get out. So yeah, you know what? Let's do it, Ginsburg.
Yep. It's always looking for the light, the silver lining. I like that about you. Cool, good stuff. This is awesome. I'm happy to do it again. Anytime you guys want to do OSINT stuff, I love it. So my day job is OSINT. If you guys have any questions, hit me up here. But I will drop off and we'll let the next act through.
Yeah, we've got about 3 minutes for Arch to take over.
Oh, never mind. Sorry, I'll fill for 3 minutes. Sorry. I did say something about training. DM me if you got questions on training and stuff. There was something through B-Sides Kansas City. We were gonna do some OSINT training, and like I said, I'm happy to offer that in October sometime. I think I'm actually gonna be moving, so we'll see how all that stuff works out. I'll still be in Kansas City area though. You have people that say, yeah. I used to work for a company and they're like, oh yeah, I don't have any social media. I don't have anything on there. You can't find anything about me. And then I would pull up like Family Tree Now and I would show them their mom, their dad, their brothers, their sisters. And then I'd put it on that and show them their Facebook information. And yeah, that was always fun.
As long as you don't find my old DPS handles, we will do totally fine. I did not need 18 years to come back and haunt me.
And I will tell you, we just had like an OSINT kind of incident. There was somebody who was from, I believe, India, and they put a Medium article out like last week, and it was all about how I'm going to stalk my crush from 10 years ago. And they used all the OSINT techniques and some social engineering things. No, it doesn't ever cause problems. Anytime public information is out there, it's all good. I mean, as long as it's verifiable. Anyway, this guy literally did a stalking Medium article, and the whole OSINT community kind of like uproared on him, and he took it down, and it was very funny.
I think I remember that happening, actually.
Yeah, it was literally called How I Stalked My Crush from 10 years ago or something.
Yeah. Terrifying.
Yeah, it is always weird when you find people with the same handles as you, or you're looking for handles and someone else is taking it over on a site. So yeah. I do have to call out Sam. I appreciate her being here. She's not in the Kansas City area, but it's nice to have her in the chat there.
I'm waving at you. You can't see it, but I'm waving at you saying hello.
I actually just got a subscription to Hack the Box. I've not actually done a lot with it, but I would love to get into that stuff. Nice. Yeah, I have heard that with the VIP stuff where you can do retired boxes and stuff. Yeah, it's awesome. That's cool. I appreciate it, Sam. Yeah, we talked a couple times about coming on the show and stuff. I did an interview with Paul at Lair 8 a couple years ago when we could still actually have, meetings and cons and stuff. But yeah, I'm down whenever you want. Just hit me up. Oh shit, I'm over time. It's 8:01. This has been fucking awesome, SecKC. I miss all of you and I love your faces. I'm gonna drop off here and get some dinner, but like I said, hit me up in the DMs here. I'm always on the Slack, osint.team. You can hit me up there too. Just don't come to my door because I have guns. Love you.
That was awesome. Thank you. Very much appreciated. All right, we are going to get things kicked off here in just a minute to talk DefCon music. We are, as might be expected, on the first time on a new platform, getting a couple of technical things lined out, but we will be right with you just in a second.
Leave it to Brian to have audio issues.
What? Never.
How do we get over the video thing in these voice channels that are large? Is that impossible?
For this meeting, probably yes. I think that's probably going to be something that we have to discuss action plans on for future meetings.
Are you talking about to where everyone can have webcams enabled?
Yeah.
Yeah, Discord on guilds, they disable it whenever it's a group over 25.
So I don't think it will be possible, period, for all participants to have mics on ever. Or not mics, but video on.
Do you want me to bounce out of here? Completely? The beat's live, so it should be down a little bit further. That's the one. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Brian.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello, hello.
Oh, the music. Hello. Music just died.
I paused it. Do you want it up?
I was just reporting in, I don't know. What are you using this channel for? Just like testing, like.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Cool.
Indeed.
All right. Well, let's see. All right. So, the thing is that I guess people wanted to know about what went on with the DefCon music submission and just kind of what happened. For those of you who don't know, this year was a cassette tape. Was the badge, and I didn't actually know anything about this. This is kind of how DefCon works: is they don't tell you shit. At the beginning of every year, they put out a link that just says, "Hey, we're looking for music. Send it in if you want to have any of it included somewhere." They don't tell you where. They don't tell you what's going to happen, and they don't even really tell you if they accepted it until the very end of the conference. Or in my case, they posted the badge on eBay. And I happened to notice they had a picture of the liner notes. And if I looked at it pretty closely, turns out they picked one of my tracks to put on the track list. You probably can't even read that. But anyway, it was a surprise. That's how the whole thing goes, is you come up with something that you think they might like and you submit it, and you hear nothing back until the week before the con. If like in the past, I've done DJ sets for them. And they tell you the week before, like, oh yeah, we picked you to do this set and this set, and you just show up and you do it, right? There's no planning really or anything. And even the first year they said, oh yeah, we're gonna have the pool and you're gonna play the pool, and then they changed it at the last minute, like the day before I was supposed to play, and put me in this room in the Flamingo. And I think Bill and a few other people, like 6 people total, showed up for that set. And it was amazing. I got to be on the DefCon stage with the stuff behind me and all that stuff. But
actually, I was there, and who else? Actually, Smodian was in there too, like in Arch. Yeah. So like,
yep. A few of the people here, all of the great people, like they showed up and they came and they showed their support, and it was amazing. Even though DefCon said not a word about it in their promotions, like that's the way all of this goes. Is nothing gets advertised at all, and you just kind of roll with it. And they actually this last year, not 28 but 27, I played one of the couple of DJ sets. And they said, we want the DJs to start self-promoting a bit more. And so we did that a lot more and got a lot more presence. And actually, we threw the SecKC party and it was totally packed too. Which, again, a whole team effort. But really, most of that just to say, like, yeah, there's not a lot to it. I do put in a lot of work to put together those tracks, and I don't really make any money off of them. Usually they go on a something like this. I think 27 and 28 I had a track on the soundtrack, and this year they actually put it on the badge, which was really, really cool from an artist perspective, because now I have this like thing that's memory of being part of the con, even though it wasn't really a con, and yet it's on a physical piece. And then I was also gooning, so I got 2 copies of it, different colors. Oddly enough, being put on the soundtrack doesn't qualify me as an artist, so I didn't get a copy of the artist version of the tape. But I can't really be begging about that kind of stuff. So, other than that, not a whole lot else to say as far as the process goes itself. It's like a spreadsheet that you fill out, you submit a file along with any copyright proof that you have that you own the track, and they don't say whether or not you were accepted. You just either
Can I
are.
jump in real quick, Brian?
What?
Can I jump in real quick? So,
yeah.
I love how Brian says there's not a whole lot to it, just a lot of work. If you guys don't know, Brian works on new music like every single day. Like probably, what would you say? Probably half the text messages I get per day is Brian saying, hey, what do you think about this sound? Or what does this feel like? Or hey, just listen to this. Hey, I added new drums. Hey, those are my vocals. Like just he creates and he creates and he creates and he creates always. It's a lot of work, right? There's a lot to it before you end up on, that DefCon badge, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, I don't want to undermine the work that goes into the music going at all. Like as Bill says, it's a lot of freaking work that you put into like creating a track, and then like when I created both of those that ended up on there, I had DefCon in mind when I started to put it together because I know the sound that they're going for. I know, kind of hackers, electronic music, and also the elements of like this one was specifically the track was titled Trouble. And that's kind of our motto when we go to DefCon is it's like cause some trouble. And I knew that would kind of resonate with people, and they picked it and they put it on there. So I was super excited about that. I got one question. I think after I was asked about this, I posted on Twitter and I said, "Hey, we're going to do a quick recap. Are there any questions anybody has specifically about this process?" And I got one question, which was somebody wanted to hear about the software and the external instruments that I use. I guess I'll show that I do use Ableton Live for all my production. So everything from sketching out the idea. This is actually the Kids Want to Get High track right here. This is the last version of it with the mastering chain turned off. So it's lower volume, but in the end, this is what went out and was published on the soundtrack for 27. The software itself is not that exciting. I actually use almost all built-in instruments. Actually, the instruments are all built in as far as the sounds that are created from internally. And then I use a few Waves plugins for mastering, stuff like that. Just compressors, limiters, stuff like that. As far as external instruments go, this is it. This guitar lays down the guitar parts, and then I have a bass down here as well. This is how the music gets made. All the drums that I do are programmed in Ableton itself. So, there's not a lot of live tracking on those. Electronic music, we don't use a lot of the live samples for that kind of stuff because it has to be very specific sounding and very tight and all that kind of crap. So you don't want the sound of somebody, just banging away on a trap set in a room. I do those kind of songs as well, but I don't generally publish them because it's not in the style. I'm actually working on a whole separate album that all that stuff is being recorded separately, but haven't published any of it yet. Actually working on a couple of albums that are different styles. So like Bill said, I'm always creating new stuff. And the people who know me well hear about it all the time, and they're like, "God, shut the fuck up." But
actually, so Brian, can I jump in here because I got a story too. So what I think is really awesome about Brian, like the love of what he is doing is not surface level for sure. So over the weekend, like I showed him a video of my son playing guitar, and Brian offered to record like my son's his quote unquote band, like that he has with his buddies, but he offered his personal time to like show those kids how to do stuff. Like so Brian, like this stuff comes from love, as corny as that sounds, and like I think that's why it's so awesome that Brian is where he's at, because he is the most deserving like person in terms of like it's coming from such a good place, man. And I really appreciate like where that, like I've never been so close to how music is created, and seeing that is really, really cool. So like it is not about getting it in the on the DefCon badge for sure, I guess is my point. Like the love of the music is what's important.
Yeah, I appreciate that very, very much. It's again, like I told Corey when I saw the video, I was like, I love when kids get into music. And anytime that happens and I can help, I want to help. I donate my time, plenty. Anything I can do to help, I will help. So if anybody has kids who are interested in music or want to do any of this production stuff or whatever, let me know. I'll help in any way I can. Yeah, so I think that covers most of the badge stuff. Did any questions come in? Like, let me Well, if I click into a channel, it might get dropped off. Actually, I can see the text.
I, for one, am interested in this video. I thought the video was just insanely good, and I'd like to hear more about how that got put together.
The mix video?
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, we've been doing a DefCon parties mix. Actually, it started out with my predecessor. Alley Cat was like the DefCon parties DJ, because she played an actual party for them. I guess back at the Rio, and you know, I think it was 24. She started doing a series of Is It DefCon Yet? And so these were pre-mixes that were put together and kind of released as DefCon was approaching. So it was the week before DefCon to kind of get everybody hyped. And it was really cool. She, you know, I had a mix going and Trent was like, yeah, send it over to Allie and she'll get it all figured out. And then after that year, she kind of, I think she ended up with not being able to make it to DefCon. Couple of years and then just kind of has not really returned. So you know, I offered to make that mix that first year. The official first one that I did was 25, and now we're at 28. So you know, I put out one at 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So this year's, you know, or every year, it's a lot of freaking work because people don't realize, you know, you put together a mix that's kind of cool. You're sitting around, you're hacking, you're doing whatever, you know, the energy can flow. With a party mix, it has to be 100% energy the entire time. So I'll just show you. You know, you expect to hear, you know, an hour worth of music is a typical mix. And some people might think, you know, 20, maybe 14 tracks could fit into an hour. If you look at my set list here, this is from this last year. 48 tracks fit into 60 minutes. Like, you're talking about, you know, 15 seconds plus transition time around each track to get the energy at that level the whole time. So when I'm working on a DefCon parties mix, I spend probably a solid month looking for music, starting out an arrangement, working it out, and just practicing over and over and over again and deleting it after every time. Like, I swear the 2 weeks before, I was standing here in my studio recording videos, running through it live, and every morning I would get up at 5 o'clock, run through the mix, and just have it play all day long. And I would listen to all the parts and go, nope, that's garbage, delete it. I have to redo the whole thing. And this is what I ended up with. So all of this was just kind of like, okay, yeah, DefCon parties mix. And then Black Hat reached out and was like, hey, we're kind of thinking about throwing this virtual party thing. Do you want to do a mix? And I was like, well, yeah, I've kind of got a set list going on, you know, that I'd planned already, so I can just play that. And I'm not doing a DefCon actual set this year. I didn't apply to that. So I can just make this my Black Hat set and we can kind of do that. And then at the last couple of days, I think it was 3 days before I was set to go live, they said, well, we're not going to do a live video. We want you to pre-record a set and send it to us. And I was like, well, that's kind of lame. And then I said, hey, DefCon parties, Bill, Trent, Corey, let's make a video. How about if we, like, you know, collected some video and like, I think I said something like, let's get like people dancing at parties or shots at DefCon and blah, blah, blah. And let's put it all together. Like, would that work? And then
2 days.
Then basically Bill jumped in.
The day before. Right, the day before.
And I'll let Bill take over from there.
No, there's not a whole lot more to add. I mean, so we were kind of talking about it. I think the week before, Brian, you had kind of sent us maybe the first guess at, you know, like what the set kind of sounded like, and but you're right. So it was 3 days before the due date where we decided to make the video, and
and none of us had any video editing experience at all.
Zero, right? And so essentially, kind of what we did is, you know, we all kind of took our own approach. And my approach was to put headphones, put put these headphones on, and I would just go through and I would write down adjectives and time codes, right? So like whatever the time of the music was, this is what in my mind the adjective that describes kind of what I'm feeling, right? So whether that would be like like what Brian just mentioned, people dancing, or scary, or drums, or just adjectives. Probably one of my favorite.
Bill, can you expand on the drums thing just a little bit?
Actually, I was going to expand on that. So probably one of my favorite parts of the video was the Mad Max scene. So in my mind, I saw drums, and I saw like guys.
Wait, hold on. Can you back up just a little and start from the beginning?
It came to me. It came to me.
Yeah. Wait. When you say me, hold on. When you say me, whose name are you pronouncing? You're referring to yourself.
Corey was the first one to include a clip like that specific one. It was the very first clip that was chosen for the video, and he picked that one. And it's the one that people come back to, and they're like, "That scene is fucking mind blowing."
Hold on. Corey's timing was way off. It wasn't even good. I mean, it was a good idea. It was a good idea, but it was terribly executed, right? The timing,
right, of course.
So anyway, we're working on this video, and I asked Brian, I was like, okay, when is this thing due? And he says tomorrow at noon. And like I had been working on it for, I think at that point around 14 hours, and I was at maybe minute 10, right? I mean, like, and I said, Brian, we're in trouble, buddy. So Brian took half, and I took half, and it'd be interesting, if you're ever watching the video, if you can see who did what, it'd be kind of interesting to see that. But it really was a team effort, a lot of thought about what those adjectives and kind of what we're trying to describe and those kind of things. But it was really interesting to me as videos started coming in. And Brian, I'm curious how you feel about this, but as the sections were coming in, just it was kind of like inspiring to see how someone else interpreted that section of the video. There's a lot of self-doubt in that. And you're like, oh man, wow, he did a much better job than I did, and it was incredible.
Yeah, it was like every time I saw. So this is us like figuring out how to do this on the spot, because it was like he said 3 days before, he'd been working on it 14 hours, and I was like, okay, I got to figure out how to help with this because we got to get this done and turned in. And so I looked at what he started creating, and I was like, holy fuck, there's no way I'm going to be able to do that. Right. And so I just started grabbing videos and stuffing them in there. And I was like, okay, that looks kind of cool. And that looks kind of cool. And then he looks at it.
Is as I started submitting video samples back to Brian, he was like, okay, you got to remove the boobs from this section. And so I'd take those out, and I'd move them just a little bit, and I'd resubmit. And he'd be like, come on, man. Like you got to take, okay. All right. I'll take those out. And I finally snuck a little bit through. Right, I snuck a little bit through, but he kept calling me out on that, which was hilarious.
I was like, man, we got to submit this to Black Hat, and we know what they're going to say. And in the end, the funniest thing is, so we submitted the video, like we worked our asses off 2 nights in a row, up till 4 a.m. on the last night. And then Bill put in another like 12 hours, like on the last day to get it submitted in time. So we send it over to them, and like, I don't know, 4 hours later, they come back to me. They're like, turns out they give us like a specific list of timestamps. Like this image, like cannot be shown. Basically, they're like, no, we cannot show this video. We like the one of you. They show like a screenshot of me standing in front of the mixer, the parts where it cuts out. We're like, we like this view. So
the best part was it was in lawyer speak, right? It was definitely written by a lawyer, which means that there was a team of lawyers that had to watch it. And there was one section there like, look, guys, you can't have strippers with fire flamethrowers. Okay, what are you talking about? Like stripper poles and flamethrowers are pretty awesome in my, like Cool.
So that was when we decided, okay, well, when we do the live set, that's just me doing the mix in the Black Hat, inside thing, we're gonna release it on DefCon parties at the same time and actually just blast the video live stream. But the problem we had was that, DJing. So for anybody who's not into DJing, may not know that I'm not allowed to play any of that music or upload it anywhere. Like I can play it in a live venue and that's it. I can't put it up on a stream anywhere except for Mixcloud. Mixcloud doesn't support videos. So you're not allowed to upload any copyrighted music mixes to YouTube or SoundCloud or any of that stuff. So, a lot of people don't realize that. So I have to battle with that all the time. I'm not allowed to make any money off of mixes, period. So, I hear all the time like, oh yeah, it must make a lot of money off that. No, not a dime. Never. Mixcloud, nothing. So, people enjoy those mixes because they are from the heart and that's it. Like I get nothing from them. And then we put in this time to make the video just for the same thing. We can't even upload it anymore. I tried the other day to upload it to YouTube to see if we could get it going for even a couple of hours. And the minute I uploaded it, they said, nope, banned. Because like this record label said you have the content. No, can't do it.
And that's too bad because I really think the drums thing should be put in front of a lot of people. Wouldn't you agree, Bill?
I do like the drums were a very good addition, Corey. And the timing of the drums is fine, and I think when it comes down to artistry, it's more about how the images are used and not necessarily which images are used. But I mean,
so it's a good thing I was here because you were just lying to everyone, and I had to jump in and really let everyone know you were a big fat phony and you were lying. So you're welcome, everyone.
I mean, quite honestly, like, look, we can talk about the video all day, but like that mix, Brian, so we obviously, like Brian kind of introduced, we've been, he's been releasing mixes for DefCon parties for years now, but this one, man, this one was something special. It's perfect, right? I don't know how you're going to top it next year, but
it's perfect.
It is literally perfect.
Yeah, it's oh my god, I have not stopped listening to it. Just that's all that plays.
Well, yeah. I gotta say, like, I have music to work with, and sometimes I have more and better music to work with than others. So, and I rely on a lot of all these people to submit tracks. Like, I'll say no to a lot of them, but if I don't hear those original tracks, I can only have so many sources that I can go and look for. Whereas when I can ping my friends and be like, hey, what are the top tracks you've heard this year? Send those to me. And if you send me a list of 10, that's a lot easier than me having to go dig through thousands. I literally listen to thousands of tracks to put one of these mixes together.
And that's real talk, because just yesterday, Brian, was it? I sent you a song and I was like, you're going to hate this artist, but like this beat is the shit. And Brian's like, yeah, this rap's completely sucks. But the beat, it's really cool to like just toss things out. And Brian,
the thing is, I love that the people that I rely on have learned what I'm gonna like too. And so I only get the things they think that there's a good chance that I'm gonna include, and there's that initial filtering that happens. So I'm not like, no, this is garbage, stop sending me that crap, they do a really excellent job of picking the stuff. I'm like, holy shit, like even Lauren is one of the people, like, I think the single most sourced person that I have in any of the last few mixes. Like, I think this mix had 3 or 4, maybe more tracks that she personally picked that went into this mix. And I was like, man, this is...
Yeah, that's so sick. That's amazing.
So anyway, we don't want to take up all night. We just want to,
I just want to make sure everybody understands. I mean, Brian, you put that whole mix together, whatever that was, 48 tracks or whatever, and he did half the video, right? I mean, and that was, and he's not kidding. We were up all night for 3 days, right? Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna break in here and like beat Dad, and I'm sorry for that. That sucks. But we've got 5 minutes till we kick off to talk about the new platform.
Yep.
So if you can hop over to general and see if people have further Q&A, although I think we've covered a lot of it. I also want to say, if you haven't read it, the Beastie Boys book has like a whole thing about listening to an entire album to find the 5 seconds of gold to come up with a new loop. And your whole conversation makes me think about that.
Cool. All right, we'll jump over there and see if people have questions.
Awesome. Thank you very much. That was extremely enlightening and a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Hi, Dad.
All right, so give us 4 minutes now, and we will kick off a discussion with Jurist about what is the new platform, the new vision for where we're going with SecKC. So grab your drink in your bathroom and whatever else, and we will see you in about probably 3.5 now.
Oh, there he is. Hey, Asma.
Just have them tell us when we're live. Hey there. Okay.
Hey, it's Lauren.
Hey. I just realized I had a whole bunch of people muted for half of this, so that's fun. Working out the kinks.
One of these days I'm actually going to have to get an actual webcam or some sort of cam, so when I'm on my desktop, people can see me.
It's the super hot thing to do right now.
Super hot thing to do. Also, I just ordered some more RAM, so
Living the dream.
And on Friday, looking to get that 32 gig.
Oh, hey everybody.
Hey,
so,
everybody.
Sorry I was a little bit late, but since I still see that there are actual people in the channel, that's a good sign. So I thought that I might talk a little bit about Discord, kind of what it is, why we're in Discord instead of on Zoom, what it kind of means for what we're going to do going forward, how it's set up, and then I'm going to turn it over to Triwolf, who's going to talk about some of the technical aspects of this. So this all happened extremely quickly. Last month, if you guys joined the giant Zoom call, we all talked about how it was time to kind of lean into the fact that we're not going to be meeting in person anytime soon for lots of different reasons. One of the things among them is even if quarantine was kind of lifted, we don't have a place to go right now because Kansas is closed, and it's not that great of a time to go and sign contracts and that kind of thing. So, coming out of DefCon 28, I had kind of seen that the Discord can actually work as a viable alternative to meeting in person in some kind of ways. and it offers at least what we've got in Slack plus a whole heck of a lot more. So actually, during last month's meeting, by the end and by the time I went to bed, I'd gone on and I'd gone ahead and signed up with Discord and set up the server and got kind of talking to a lot of the people that run the founders panel that talked last month about, hey, maybe this is kind of a cool thing. And why is it cool exactly, right? So I've got a lot of questions about, well, I'm already in Slack. I already have Slack open. I don't want to, I'm already in there for work, this and that. Well, after working within Discord for the run up to DefCon for both kind of planning and collaboration, and then during the conference, it really kind of showed me that, yeah, it's Discord, but it's actually, it's like Slack, but a little bit better and offers a little bit more. And I think the moment when it really kind of clicked for me during DefCon was kind of between Q&A sessions I was running. I popped over into one of the random voice and video channels that many of you have already found here in Discord. And there's just people sitting around shooting the shit as if they were sitting at a bar in the Discord video channels. And then some dude like reaches off screen and pulls over a bottle of whiskey and just starts chugging whiskey like on his own sitting there. And I'm like, this is actually functioning as a pretty good alternative. So got to work, talked to a number of folks, got a little bit of buy-in, started assembling a core group of folks, and kind of thinking about how, what does this kind of look like? What does this look on the evening of a meeting? But also, what's it look like day to day? If you're already in Discord, you can kind of scroll through the channels. Everything should look extremely familiar, and you should feel right at home if you've spent a lot of time in Slack. What we did to kind of pick and choose those channels was to actually go through the metrics that Slack provides to us to find those channels that had, frankly, recent activity, right? Either from number of people being members or recent messages being traded back and forth. And then we transferred those over. Discord actually offers some additional options for us. For example, you probably noticed when you logged in, all of the channels are visible. You can go in, you can kind of tweak that and hide some things to prune that and make it a little bit easier on the eyes. But we also get a lot more options in terms of control. So, for example, we have roles set up, and those roles can either be just kind of general pieces of flair, or they can actually be functional. So anybody that's on the speaker review board has that role, and we've got our own little text channel that we can kind of collaborate with inside of there. Along those lines, parenting was a channel in Slack. It was kind of open to everybody. Now parenting is actually going to be a role that's assigned to you, so that's going to be locked off, and somebody has to kind of vouch for you as actually being a parent to get in there. Makes people a little bit more comfortable. But really, the fun kind of comes in with the ease in which you can transition from typing messages to people to actively collaborating over voice or video or sharing your screen, that kind of thing. And where I think this really has potential is down the road, whenever we're signing up for big team-based CTFs and we all want to collaborate, we can jump in there and work together. If somebody's working on a project, hop on, share what you're doing. Get people together and working hands-on as if we were actually in the same kind of room. The other kind of a neat thing is that we can have these kinds of things going during the day. The other day in the Beats Live channel, we all just sat around and did our normal work, but with friends around. Learned that Ryan is an incredible dancer, and watched the assembly process of a new desk chair at Tri-Wolf's home office. So it kind of brings back a lot of those kinds of social things that we have been missing from our lives since the middle of March. And it's a lot of fun. And Slack, frankly, is a little bit more corporate. Discord, company-wide, seems to be focused on community building and building their platform for things like this and for organizations like ours, and it's going to work really well going forward. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Trywolf. Well, and one more thing before I go, I want to thank everybody that was in that kind of initial discussion group for kind of getting on board or being fairly ambivalent about this, and then really kind of and starting to support it. You all noticed that we have updated rules that you had to accept when you came in. So the Code of Conduct Committee got together and collaborated and got those all together. A lot of people chipped in to make this happen, and getting this all ready to go and ready for a meeting in less than a month is pretty damn impressive. But most of that work, certainly at the very end, in putting all the fun together, was all Trywolf's work. So I'm going to let her talk about the things that she's built in for you guys and how you can put some of this stuff to work.
Thanks, Jurist. I need to get a soundboard applause, but big round of applause for Jurist for making this move. It's certainly much easier, at least for me to use than Slack. So like you mentioned, we do have some technical controls. We actually have a lot more technical flexibility and granularity within Discord, which is awesome. So you should all notice that when you first come into the SecKC channel, you go into the rules gate. You have to do a Bob or Alice. And I see some of you have found the other emotes that you can do as well. To get that member status to unlock and be added to the rest of the channels, or to see the rest of the channels, excuse me. Look, the big thing here is we just want to make it super obvious. Here's our code of conduct and how you can report to. So there's an example -report command where you can report someone. If you don't feel comfortable, just find one of us. On the right-hand side, listed under code of conduct, we've got folks who are online almost all the time. Besides that, everyone will be a member. That means you've earned your stripes, right? Everybody's a member at SecKC, so you can participate in any of the channels you see here. Juris did mention parenting's lockdown. We do that for a reason. But if you want to join Beats Live or General or anything like that at any point in time, you have the permissions to do that. So some key things to keep in mind. Outhouse is still the NSFW channel. We are scrubbing that 24 hours, every 24 hours, excuse me. I'm working on the timing of that now. It's about 10 o'clock. Should get earlier. The problem is we have to set it later and later. We also have mod logs and code logs. So if you report someone or report a bot for being annoying and overreaching, which does happen, someone from the code of conduct team will see it and we can act on it. We also have controls turned on for ASCII spamming, malicious links. So if you're trying to post things that go to known malware and you're not defanging them, we do have a bot that checks for that. We have role assignments, and the favorite right now is if you go into Beats and join Beats Live, which is normally our radio station, you can do a -play and then a YouTube link or a Spotify link and play music and queue it up for people to hear. And that's through the Groovy bot. You'll see we have Groovy too right now. He's only coming out for meetings, but the main Groovy's on 24/7 in Beats Live. We have saved queues. There's a good way that you can do play. I'll feel free to post the, if anybody has it, post the commands in there as well. We've got a command sheet you can go through there. There's some Easter eggs as well throughout. So there's -soundboard, which you can use. You'll have to figure out kind of what the code words are. So you already know that -soundboard 23 plays something. So if you're in a voice channel, you can type that into any chat channel and it'll come play a little sound clip for you. Also -soundboard 420 is available if you're interested in that. So we have 3 auto mods right now. So we have YAG PDB, and then we have Dino and Dino Premium. So these are doing a lot of the heavy lifting for us. This is protecting us from any types of attacks that may happen, any people that come in and try to brigade or raid our server. And we also have pretty hard lockdown permissions as well. Also, we have join and leave logs, so we know who are coming in and who are going. This is all on the back end, so we're fairly locked down. We did have some pretty harsh security settings on the server before where we required you to have a phone number. That is no longer required, but we do require that you have had your Discord account for longer than 5 minutes, which is a fairly reasonable control. All the media that's getting added to Discord is being scanned by their special antivirus servers. It's probably just semantic running on the back end, but that lets us show pictures in high def. So if you're in photography, Juris has been posting some fantastic, like full res photos. It doesn't compress it like Slack. Super easy. And then you'll also notice that Juris has made an awesome channel taxonomy. So you'll see the main general channels. You've got the random channels, breaking, building, meetings if you want to get involved in that. And then we've got voice channels. And the cool thing is you can click on these and you can edit your notifications per channel. So I think our default is right now we only have app mentions, so we don't blow you up. But super easy to come in and go and join different channels. So if I wanted to right now, I could go click into general and join the 30 some odd of you that are in there. You guys can come find behind the STFU wall and come join me in here. We do have a limit of 25 in a camera video setting. And yes, we know that's annoying. We're working on that now. Other than that, we've got tons of Easter eggs hidden. It is still a work in progress. Announcements is going to be your place where you can get the schedule. So you'll see that I posted an announcement this afternoon at like 4 o'clock. Gives you the schedule, gives you the invite link. That invite link is permanent and public. So feel free to invite anybody that isn't in here that you want to have in here. And the best part about Discord is it's just a lot easier to come and go and jump on and hang out with folks. So after this, if you're like, hey, I'm going to play Call of Duty and you want to stream to this channel behind the STFU wall or general, you can do that. And people can hang around and just shoot the shit. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out and at me or DM me. We also have code of conduct. We have admins. Admins are marked with a red color, and then code of conduct is the yellow color.
Yep. And along those lines, we've got a lot of different roles set up. So one thing that I thought would be helpful would be to have things set up for people that want to serve as mentors, for example. If you are a recruiter and you are looking to hire people, we have a special role that you can get assigned to, so that people know that you are looking to wrangle some folks to help them meet up with paying jobs and those types of things. We've got student for all the students out there. If you are a former speaker or speakers kind of going forward, let us know. We'll get you hooked up with the speaker badge. I think that one is blue. A lot of this is going to be, for the most part, kind of on the honor system, but let an admin know and we can go ahead and get that assigned to you. For the most part, it's not going to get you anything other than nifty pieces of flair. So yeah, I think that is that. I think the people will probably have some questions about what are we going to do with Slack. This is the idea of starting up a Discord had come up maybe a year, 18 months ago, and we kind of shot that down at that point. I think the Discord was in a much different spot then than it is now. So a much more kind of a rich platform that's capable of more. And we don't really want to split things, right? So you don't have to monitor two different things at all times. So probably assuming that this is going fairly well and we get some positive feedback, we'll look at kind of turning down Slack over time, maybe by the end of the year, assuming that everything goes well. We're going to be working through some of these kinks with how we actually produce and distribute the live event. And that will get better over time. But for now, it appears that we have not train wrecked just yet. So that's a positive thing. I want to thank everybody for giving this a chance. I think this is going to be a lot of fun for a lot of folks. It's been an incredible amount of work over the past month, but it's been pretty rewarding, and it's fun to get in and see everybody again for the first time since February. So thank you all for coming, and I guess I'm going to drop back over into general, and if anybody has any questions or generally they want to heckle me, that'd be just fine. So good stuff. Well, thank you, everybody. No, everybody loves it.
No.
There's just a short
Thank you all
delay
for
from
coming,
YouTube Live,
and,
so I guess we're trying to
guess I'm
catch
gonna
up and
drop
finish
this
the
over
end of it.
into general.
Right,
and
makes
if
sense.
anybody has any
Yeah,
questions,
YouTube Live's like 10 or
generally
15
want
seconds
they
behind,
want
something
to,
like that.
heckle me, that'd be just fine. So,
Which feels weird
good
when you're
stuff.
watching
Well, thank you,
both, but
everybody.
otherwise doesn't seem to be a factor.
All right, stream is ended.
So I'm curious about feedback. Does anybody have any?
So I would say, going into this, I wasn't exactly sure, but I was being kind of open-minded about it all. Just being very comfortable with Zoom. Wasn't sure how else it would play, but I genuinely feel this was definitely more along the lines of SecKC in person. Like, this is as close as we could get, to that SecKC vibe that we've had. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm really glad I kept a very open mind because it was very cool.
Yeah, I'll say that I'm in Discord all the time anyway, so not having to go to Slack or do Zoom in addition to that works well for me.
So I'm in Slack all day, and I thought I was going to hate Discord, and I don't hate it. I actually kind of like it.
I think that we saw one of the big strengths of Discord already earlier, and that was when links were being posted to other servers for the podcast, Security Weekly, and other communities, because that's just a lot harder to do in Slack when you have to have a separate email logon for each server. Just another strength.
So I'll tell you, I was actually against the move to Discord. We spent a lot of time building up Slack, and it was kind of felt very home to me. However, last week, I've been trying to spend some more time in Discord, and I know that the Juris mentioned it, but when I popped into the Beats Live and just kind of co-worked with everyone, I turned on my video, and it was kind of nice. We could just talk or not talk. It felt very personal, and that's what won me over was Beats Live, actually. I think Archwisp, you kind of started that trend. I don't know if he's in here or not, but I think I saw him make dinner for his family, and it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I would second that. I'm normally against having my camera on, even for work and meetings that I'm supposed to participate in. But that felt really nice, just to kind of hang out with other people and not even necessarily talk or interact, but just kind of see other humans doing human things.
Yeah, I like just being able to look at the screen next to me and see a couple of other faces. It gives a sense of not so isolated. So, even if you don't have any sound or whatever, we're all listening to the same music. You can see people kind of bobbing or dancing their asses off. In some cases, it's kind of a cool just hangout thing you can do. So.
I'm willing to give it a shot. I was telling Jiggle Billy I was hashtag never Discord, but just because I've got so many other things in Slack already. But between Slack and Teams and then Discord and WhatsApp, it was just one too many. But definitely sounds interesting. So willing to keep an open mind and give it a try.
Well, and actually, I was thinking about you guys and all the badge builders out there in particular, right? And working on kind of on collaborative projects. You can see the trend of everybody kind of picking up a better camera and everything like that to help things. But remember, you don't have to necessarily stick that camera in your face. Pointed at what you're working on, and then everybody kind of works together as if we're sitting around, soldering shit in a booth or a hotel suite kind of thing.
Yeah,
so I am curious, most people's like working style? Like, are you used to just working with people that you know or can see face to face? I mean, is this kind of chat new to people?
I work at a law firm, so like, I mean, email is still new to us. So this is totally next level.
No, I've been working from home for like over 10 years, and so this is brand new for me. I never felt like I needed to be around people, but being isolated like this, not being able to go to SecKC every month and see people, it's taken its toll. So even just being able to see people virtually is a lot better than seeing nothing.
Yeah, I second that.
And I was one of the people who was strictly against Discord at the beginning too. And it was honestly after DefCon when I jumped in. I think Juris said the same thing. I just kind of jumped into one of the pool rooms. And people were sitting around with cameras on, just chatting. It was like, holy crap, we can just sit here and shoot the shit, anytime. It doesn't even have to be at SecKC, it's just whenever. And that was kind of the aha moment. And I'm just going to turn my camera on and work one day and see if people jump in. And I think this last week we ended up with like 25 people in there at one point, which was kind of fun. So.
Yeah, it was totally your fault because you were the one sitting there. I'm like, well, I should probably do that.
Yeah, well.
Damn it, Archwisp. Stop it with your trends.
Yeah. Trend setting for the win. God, did I just say that? Welcome to 3 years ago. So we are like 10 minutes over the Q&A for Discord. Which means we're supposed to be talking about, Asmo and Jurist are supposed to be talking about what it's like to be a goon at DefCon. So do we want to move over to that now?
That's similar to what it's like to be a gangsta?
Damn, it feels good.
No, it's very different.
Not at all. God, it pays a lot less.
Being a gangster pays? Damn, I must be in the wrong business.
You get to smash printers in both instances.
All right. Well, I'll move over. Asmo, do you want to move over to behind the wall? All right.
So do the rest of us just stay here and watch the stream here? Is that what we do?
Okay, cool.
Look at that guy, extra safe. I guess that would be one way that I can cover up any video lag that I have. It's just cover my face. All right. Well, Ben asked Asmo and I to talk a little bit about kind of what it's like to be a goon, and I did. We spoke very very briefly earlier. And I think maybe it's worth kind of giving everybody maybe a little bit of an overview of kind of the history of what the goon's role is at DEF CON and how it's evolved over time. And then we can talk a little bit about the very unique nature of DEF CON 28 and how that changed and how that kind of pivoted earlier in the spring and into the summer. So I'm gonna let Asmo kind of go first and talk about the historical aspects of some of this stuff.
Hey guys, we can't hear you in the stream. I think I was able to hear Jurist, but not Asma.
I can now hear you again. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think one thing that has kind of changed a little bit, but has not changed really, is that the goons are there as kind of the community's own police and protection force first and foremost, right? I mean, you go out to some random conference for work, you get completely shit canned and pass out in the lobby. You're probably going to hear from hotel security and you're probably going to hear from local cops, right? And that's not going to be a good time for you. If you do that at DefCon, your first interaction is most likely going to be with one of the goons who is there to help you And despite the kind of the airs that the SOC goons, or what we used to call the security goons, kind of put on, is that we're there to get you, to protect you from the other authorities that aren't going to be there with your best interest in mind necessarily, and as kind of a first line of defense. And things have changed a lot, right? You know, you used to have the SOC used to be incredibly aggressive. They were all much taller and much more bearded and much heavier than I think you see now. Culturally, things have changed, where it's a much more inclusive conference now than it was whenever I started going around in 13. But I think it's changed for the better. Yeah, so it's you know, being a goon is an incredibly exhausting experience. It's you know, you always hear us all talk about, well, you know, I go to DefCon, but I don't really care. You get to participate in the conference. That's absolutely true, right? I mean, I see more talks than just about anybody else, but I do nothing else. I don't think I got a chance to walk through the CTF area at all when we were at Caesars, just because I was so busy doing other stuff. You know, so yes, it's nice that I get 2 more fucking red T-shirts every year. They go right into a drawer at this point. And it is super awesome that I don't have to stand in line, but holy crap, is it exhausting. So, but enough about that. While we, before we run out of time, I wanted to talk a little bit about the kind of interesting nature of this year, and how this kind of came about. And I'll start because I think this year, I think even more than most, every individual department kind of had their own kind of experience about how this all started, how it kind of pivoted. And for me, at least, it started way back in March, right? I mean, we're all starting to go on lockdown. I'm like, boy, hope this thing gets cleared up, because I really like going to Vegas, and especially whenever you've got a toddler at home, it's like, I really want to go to Vegas so that I can get 8 continuous hours of sleep, which is a unique experience, but boy, was it beautiful after the first year. But you know, I mean, things were looking bad, and this, depending on your domestic situation, DefCon is probably a little bit of a hard sell to begin with, let alone on a year with a global pandemic happening. So I remember calling PW Crack, who's the lead of my department, probably in late April, and being like, "Hey, man, I don't know. I think I'm gonna cash out for this year. I'm probably gonna stay home." And at that point, no decisions have been made, right? I mean, Jeff had been saying that, you know, we're gonna make this decision in June, but for now, let's kind of plan on it happening. And then I kind of cashed out, and I'm like, well, that's, you know, it's not gonna happen. My department's a little bit different because we can kind of mobilize and pull everything together at the very last minute. Asmo's department is much different than that, right? I mean, he's got to organize comms for the entire area, and do a lot of that kind of on-site planning. That, you know, for speaker operations, tell me where the stage is, tell me where the speaker's going to be. I'm a happy dude. But then suddenly it was, okay, well, this is not going to happen in person. We're going to do this over Discord. Very much probably the same kind of reaction that most of you had whenever you started hearing that we're going to do our things in Discord. I'm like, fucking seriously? Discord? It's Slack, but you know, with dark mode. How cool is that going to be? So we kind of pushed through it. My understanding is that the number of talks that we accepted was lower. They tried to maintain that quality level, but submissions were down, as you can imagine. And really kind of in the last 2 to 3 weeks, the speaker operations team worked in 2 different facets. I was on the Q&A team, which sounded like the kind of low stress option between the 2 of them, because I didn't know shit about OBS before then. And then I discovered that, oh no, this is actually the highest stress, because it's the only area that's going to be broadcasting live, and that's going to be broadcasting live from my actual basement. And who knows, there could be 100,000 people watching this. So don't fuck it up. Did a lot of run-throughs with my speakers after they'd gotten done, but I think most of the real legwork for all of those talks was not done by my part of speaker operations, but by what we call the OBS team. The OBS team actually included Archwisp, who didn't, has been, I think, fairly humble in talking about his role, but wrangling all of these speakers who have probably never used OBS before and talking them through how to give a presentation while you're talking to a camera instead of an audience, getting things edited, getting things done, and getting all of that stuff staged and ready for release there at the bitter end. That was a lot of work. So it was probably as much, I would say that I put as much work and as many hours into DEF CON this year as I normally would, with the added pressure of, if we're in Vegas, as soon as I hit the ground, I can be DEF CON 24/7 until the end of the weekend. This year, you had the same amount of things to do, if not more, but with also kind of work always happening, family always happening, having to negotiate that time, having to work around those different types of schedules. And much like any other year when we're kind of in person, it all miraculously came together and probably looked fairly seamless as an attendee if you had a chance to take part. So that was kind of my perspective on it, and what it was like for me. Asmo, I don't even know what you guys did as far as dispatch goes. So tell us all about kind of the run up and what you did that weekend. Yeah, what you described there is actually how layer one works. So I've been there, done that one too. So cool. Well, I guess we'll probably drop into Q&A, but I think this is the end of kind of our structured stuff for this month. Next month we'll see what things bring, but I would go ahead and consider things to be back up and running in SecKC as if it normally was. So if you are interested in giving a talk, then please send in your submissions. Speaker Review Board is going to be paying attention again. We're going to be reaching out to speakers that have already submitted and already been accepted to get you guys queued up. We're going to work through some of the issues with content distribution. I'm also hoping to start working with some of the speakers to maybe kind of up the production value and make this into something different as we figure out what presenting any kind of content looks like when we're doing this all remotely. I think we've all sat through enough shitty webinars for work that you sit there and you think, well, there's got to be a better way to do this. And if there's going to be a group that probably finds a better way to present online when you're sitting at home, it's probably going to be a bunch of hackers. So I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and giving us a chance. Send us your feedback. If you think you're entitled to a special role, send a DM to one of the admins. We'll get you set up. Send plenty of kudos and say thanks lots of times to Triwolf for all the work she put into all the bots in all the channels. And we will, I'd like to say we'll see you next month, but really and truly, we should probably see you tomorrow while we're all hanging out in the Beats Live channel and working together and hanging out with friends again. So thank you to everybody, and we will see you all soon.